Welcome back to Tales of the Hunt. It's the bi-weekly podcast where I go through one of my platinum trophies and kind of just discuss memories and the ins and outs and go through trophy by trophy, kind of tips on how you can get the platinum trophy yourself. On today's episode, we're talking about Far Cry New Dawn. Now at this point, I had made a deal with myself that I was going to go after every single Far Cry game. I went so far as to download Far Cry Classic on my PS3 and had started to look into what exactly it would mean to go after Far Cry 2. Whether or not I am going to fully invest in the plan of going after Far Cry 2 is left to be unseen. As of right now, the servers are a bit too dead without a dedicated group of people to go through, and like I said a couple of podcasts ago, life has gotten a bit too busy and a bit too hectic for me to really dedicate just set time for a group of people. And that's the thing with a lot of these trophies, platinum trophies I'm going after now, it's not that they're smaller, not that they require less time, it's that I don't have to burden anyone else with my hunt, essentially. That has kind of become the name of the game as I continue to hunt down these trophies and make this podcast for you guys. So, we're going to go through Far Cry New Dawn. Far Cry New Dawn is a DL sequel, as I like to call them, similar to Infamous First Light and Dishonored Path of the Outsider. These are the kind of games, and Uncharted Lost Legacy. These are the kind of games that were made to be smaller, meant to be sort of a continuation, but without the expectations of a full-fledged sequel. And Far Cry New Dawn kind of shadows that line between DL sequel and full-on sequel for Far Cry 5. Now, just a couple weeks ago, it would be 6 weeks ago at this point, but back in E3, we had the announcement that for Far Cry 6, the season pass would include campaigns or content, I should say at this point. As I record this, we don't really have all that much information about it, on the previous 3 antagonists of the game, including Voss, the father, Joseph, and Pagan, which could be really interesting and already kind of shows that the sisters, whose name I've already forgotten despite looking at the trophy list, have already been pushed aside. And there's also something to note that Far Cry Primal did come out in between those games, and those antagonists have already been discontinued as well. So it's not that hard to imagine why this game specifically might be forgotten. But I haven't had the privilege of forgetting it because I went back and platinumed it. I did get the physical disc back in the day, so there was that. And this is one of the next games that just like, yeah, I kind of platinumed this in the whole quarantine time, as it were. So let's just kind of see where this goes. The first trophy is the Meaning of Prosperity. It is at 94.8%. It's a common trophy. This is going to be your mess of a campaign. This is where it's going to start. Interestingly enough, the Wikipedia in Business is also a campaign trophy that you don't have to worry about. These were the first 2 trophies that I picked up in the game, and they kind of set the tone for what's going on. At this point, you do get your fancy razor blade weapon. It's post-apocalyptic. Everything is kind of a bit almost Borderlands-y in presentation. And it's just something that either you're going to be 100% with or 100% against. And by the time you get these 2 trophies, you are aware of which side of that you're going to be on. Far Cry New Dawn does play as every other Far Cry game up to this point, without any real big changes to the mixture. Which, again, if you're going for the Far Cry Platinums, you already kind of know what to expect going into this, and Far Cry New Dawn makes very little to actually change up that formula. So tip of the hat being the 3rd trophy, kind of continuing that strain of knocking enemy helmet off with a charged melee attack, does show that yes, there are some minor gameplay tweaks, like the charged attack, like your fancy sawblade weapon thing. There are certain things that you can throw in here and there, but for the most part, it is the same game. So home is where the part is. More campaign trophies. Reduce, reuse, recycle. Scavenge and outposts. You can always reclaim it. This is one of the ones that does show different ideas being thrown into the Far Cry series, but not really anything all that unique. Whereas other Far Cry games, you could always retry your games. This was the first one where it's like, no, you could specifically scavenge it, let enemies retake over it, make it a little bit harder, and then go back after it, which was a really cool idea, especially with the whole apocalyptic theming we had going on. It was nice to see that some risks had been taken. The next trophy is Poof. Use 3 smoke grenades. There you go. A graceful return. Recover Grace's prototype gun and welcome him back to prosperity for good. This is another one of those campaign trophies. Drive with Timber for a total of 5 minutes. Just don't take him to the vet. Timber was a continuation of a trend we saw back in Far Cry 5, where animal sidekicks have started to kind of come into play. Starting from Far Cry 5 on with Far Cry New Dawn and what we've already seen in trailers for Far Cry 6, we are going to continuously have these animal sidekick type things. It was an idea that was originally started back in Far Cry Primal with the animal taming system, which has fully made a resurgence from Far Cry 5 on. Timber is your dog companion. Just driving around with him in a little sidecar for 5 minutes will get you the trophy. Weaponsmith, craft 3 weapons. They don't need to look good, they just need to get the job done. Some of these trophy names are a bit too long for my personal preference, and that is kind of what I mean. They end up trying to make jokes in the trophy descriptions, which just ends up kind of annoying me more than anything else. It's not like we're playing Drawn to Death, there it is, where the entire game story is in fact in the trophy names. This is Far Cry. It is a game where, yeah, you can have humor, but it's one or the other, in my opinion. It feels something like a trick that Borderlands would pull, but not with the same slickness. Forager, gather 15 plants growing in Hope County. It's the closest thing to a pharmacy we have nowadays. Yoink, loot a highwayman supply drop. Be careful, it won't be unguarded. There you go. Coming up with the goods, as in return Celine's valuable stash. It's another campaign trophy. Yoink is something that you'll get notified as it happens on the map. No big deal. Finders Keepers, complete 3 treasure hunt missions. You're gonna have to talk to people around the map to pick this up and to continue. Honorary Scouts, gather intel 10 times by talking to Wikipedia scouts. No problem. Safekeeping, pick 5 safes. Again, you just have to find them. Far Cry New Dawn is one of the games that it started to kind of take the collectibles that Ubisoft has been known for just overstuffing their games with stuff and completely lowering that bar, which in my humble opinion is a brilliant thing. I really hate collectible trophies that just are like, hey, we have shit for you to pick up, to just pick it up without really any cause or reason. So the fact that they're going and making these changes was really a good thing in my opinion. That might not be everyone's opinion, but my podcast, fuck off. Good job, Cap. Kill 5 enemies by throwing a shield at them. I'm pretty sure the shields in this game was just like corridors and that kind of stuff. Am I remembering that right? I feel like I'm remembering that right. Kill or be killed. Kill a monstrous animal. It'll do the same to you given half the chance. You know, whatever. The Reunion campaign trophy I'm not going to spoil. Expeditous retreats. The first expedition to force highwaymen out of a stronghold. Again, it's a standard Far Cry thing. Go to the giant stronghold where you're going to have to really work to clear out the enemy and not just taking over like it's an outpost, but it's a stronghold. It's going to be a bit more prepared, a bit harder, and it's going to have a much wider effect on the open world. Good to know, good to keep track of. Have buddy will travel, complete 3 expeditions with a co-op partner. Online trophies are always the worst, but these ones weren't that bad. At least they didn't give me a PTSD response like some of the other trophies in other Far Cry games. So there you go. I am looking at you, Far Cry 2. Bring a knife to a gunfight. Kill 25 enemies using any type of takedown. Put that railroad spike to good use. Do I really need to explain them all? Then there, sneak up behind the enemy, stab him, move on. Again, it's not really one of the ones that aren't that big of a deal. Save Your Bacon is I guess you can call it a campaign mission. It is, yeah, it's a campaign mission. It's one of the ones where you don't have to do it, but it's a bit of a spoiler, so I'm not going to spoil it. How's it looking, Doc? Craft 10 med kits. They definitely come in handy. There you go. White gold. Commandeer an ethanol tanker and bring it back to one of your outposts. I remember this trophy being a bit of a nightmare to get through. Not because it was difficult in any means, but because I kept blowing up my tanker because I'm bad at driving. This is why I don't do racing games. At this point in time, the only racing game I've ever pulled off was the Jack X Combat Racing game, which even then is more of a kart racer with the fact that it has items and that kind of stuff than a just straightforward racing game. I'm terrible at driving in video games. I don't know what it is, and it's a big part of the reason why I am never going to do a Grand Theft Auto game. If I ever do a Grand Theft Auto game, someone had to have tricked me in order for that to happen. That is the only way that is happening. Buzzkill. Kill 10 brawlers with any saw launcher. They never saw it coming. You'll successfully catch one of every type of fish in Hope County. Get those omega-3s. One of the few completionist trophies in the entire game, but no big deal. Archery Expert is killing an enemy from more than 100 meters away with a basic arrow. This is one of the trophies that, honestly, is almost a mainstay of the Far Cry series. As far as I can remember, from 3 on, including Primal, there's always been a kind of 100-meter distance kill with a bow and arrow, which is pretty great, all in all. It's one of the things that is like, hey, if you're playing a Far Cry game, you're gonna have to do this 100-meter kill. Just expect it. The best way to do it, like in every other Far Cry game, is to go up on a hill and just let the trajectory, I can never say that word right, take the arrow from there. In the end, it's not a big deal, but it will get your job done. Way easier than trying to scope out 100 meters of just dead space on even ground. Use the cliffs and the distance to help you with your goal. Fly, you fools. No wings means less drag, right? Take a short flight in the wingsuit. Wingless plane. Destroy your plane. And just keep on going. Yeah, there you go. That's what that means. Prospering is a fun little campaign trophy. Audio file. Rediscover some sweet tunes from the new world. Find all hidden MP3 players. This is a trophy very much like the fishing trophy. Well, you need to go and talk to the Wikipedian guy. That guy is going to have a map that holds all of the MP3 locations, which makes this seemingly really taunting task much easier in reality. Not a big deal. Just look for the maps, buy the maps, go through and run through. Return to Eden, closed for applications. Both of these trophies are campaign trophies that I'm not going to spoil, but you can probably guess what you have to do if you've played Far Cry 5 or if you know anything about Far Cry New Dawn from a storytelling and narrative perspective. Before. Find all deal photograph locations to see Hope County as it used to be. This is a side mission that you have to pick up. And again, using the Wikipedia guy, he's going to sell you maps for these types of locations. It once again turns a difficult trophy into more of a exploratory slog. One of the hardest things you're going to have to do here is just finding the locations. While they're all guides online from PS5 trophies, not all of them are that exact. Not the guides, I mean, but the locations. You have to be at specific angles to line up the picture that you're holding with the landscape behind it. Not a big deal, just kind of annoying. Captain's courageous. Kill your first enforcer. This sure will send the highwayman a good message. It's just kill your first enforcer. Not a big deal. The type of enemies that, as you continue through the campaign of the game, end up showing up more and more. I think the first one is treated something like a mini boss, but again, not a big deal. Legend has it, this is for creating a special legendary variant of a gun and or vehicle. Not a big deal. It's one of the things that, like, you'll get notified through the crafting systems and through the upgrade systems that it's an option, but it's just something that you have to go out and do and find the resources through foraging and scavenging to pull it off yourself. Not a big deal. It's super effective. Headshot an enforcer with a piercing ammo. I don't even think you have to kill him. I think you just have to pull off the shots. However, this trophy was done almost over a year ago, so I'm not quite sure how truthful that is. So just be aware of that. Paladin Secrets. Find Sam Fish's outfit in the government plane wreck expedition. The expeditions are meant to be a little bit more extravagant and to give you better gear, like the Paladin Secret. This is, while it is a bit of a spoiler to kind of tell you the description of it, you're gonna have to know what it is anyway if you want to pull it off. Yeah. Splinter Cell is a Ubisoft property, which is why references show up in Ghost Recon. Yeah, that works. Yeah, so that's fine. It's not even a big deal that it kind of happened. So, yeah. But there you go. Look for the expedition from the government plane, which has a lot of enemies. Then going to, I remember it being in the plane itself, all the way on the left, kind of sneaking in the back. It is missable if you're just doing the expedition. It's not marked on any of the maps or anything, so you do have to be highly aware of where you're going. I recommend just going through all of the planes themselves, because it is inside the plane to pull it through. If you are a bit confused, again, I highly recommend PS5 trophy list that shows off all of these things in a much more grander detail. Hey Father, watch this. Perform an aerial takedown after using Leap of Faith. Just kind of merging the two franchises more and more into each other between Assassin's Creed and the Far Cry series. Get to the point. Kill off an enforcer with a bayonet. I don't need to say anything else there. Percolot. Unlock the first level of all perks. You'll get that through grinding out levels and stuff. My Little Fortress is a campaign trophy. Stack them up. Purchase the 5th tier of a stackable perk. Don't really need to say anything more than that. Liberate a rank 3 outpost while staying undetected. Liberate all your bases. Liberate all outposts at least once on rank 3. This is, to get the rank 3, what you need to do is you need to continuously scavenge an outpost that you have already unlocked. By scavenging it the first time, it'll upgrade a tier, and then you just continuously do that until you're at rank 3. You're going to have to do that anyway with all of them because of all your bases, but pure ninja, you just have to stay undetected. A good tip for any of this stuff is just to use your animal companions to send them in, have them wreck up house, and you won't have to do any of this stuff yourself. Kind of cheesy, but if you don't really want to put in a lot of effort, but you still want to get the trophy, that's how I do it. If you want to put in more of the effort, take your shots very carefully, use your bow and arrow as you go through, and just remember that you don't need to be in the middle of the outpost to start it. You can be on a cliff on the outside of it, taking pot shots with a silenced sniper rifle and still get the job done. I do recommend shooting out the speakers and all that stuff before you kind of do anything else, but again, that's just me. Springboard, survive a 30-meter fall, only using Leap of Faith to nullify the impact. There you go, enjoy that. Angle management, eliminate 10 enemies with a single activation of Wrath. I did this in one of the missions where you get ambushed, so just having it always available for when you need it is going to be your best thing there. Master Skinner, collect at least one skin of every type of animal in Hope County. It's one of the fun little... My phone is blowing up and I'm very sorry that I'm getting distracted by it, because that is so annoying. Just skin one of every animal. It's one of the collectible trophies. Again, Wikipedia will have maps where you can find all the locations for all the different animals. You will have to go through and buy them, and it can be quite expensive as you continue to go through, unless they've patched it and they changed it. I don't know. It's been over a year. They might have changed it. But I haven't heard anything about news being updated or anything like that, so you should be good to go. Hit the road, complete 70 unique expeditions on rank 3 difficulty. Again, this is one of the things that by going back and doing expeditions on repeated playthroughs raises the difficulty. And do this a couple times until you get the rank 3, and then you can do the hit the road. Problem solver, just another one of those campaign trophies that I'm not going to spoil. The End of Eden, another campaign trophy, and Conqueror, which is the platinum trophy. Out of all the trophies in this game, I don't think, let me just count them up real quick. Yeah, there's only 50 of them, so there wasn't even that many things to do, with a good chunk of those once again being considered just campaign trophies, or pretty basic, just do the thing type trophies. Far Cry New Dawn was and is one of the platinum trophies that I am constantly forgetting that I've done. If it wasn't for the fact that I had to do that I'm doing this podcast, not that I had to do, but that I'm doing this podcast, I would have forgotten this thing even existed. It's just one of those super forgettable, non-really present games, which, you know, not every game is going to be a massively creative undertaking. Not every game is going to be the game, you know what I mean? Far Cry, I have felt for a long time, has been the quintessential drunk food type games. It's almost like gaming comfort food to me. It is one of the games that's like, every time I pick up a Far Cry game, I'm gonna have a good time, and I already know what I'm getting into as I'm getting into it. They just kind of blur together. Even if their locations are unique, even if, you know, the villains are eccentric and fascinating, it doesn't change the fact that the trophies themselves end up being very bland and very basic in how and what you need to do. And that is and can be really upsetting. But Far Cry New Dawn, in my opinion, is a decent game that, unfortunately, with its 2.9 ultra rare platinum trophy, doesn't really have a lot in the way of challenge or memorability. I remember doing this game as a part of a challenge that I had joined back in 2020 of the ABC Platinum Challenge. Basically, a bunch of other guys on the PSN profile website had decided that we were going to go through and platinum a game. Well, they said complete. I thought it was just the platinum. A game with every single letter of the alphabet. And this was my F. Which, I did it in a week and it wasn't that memorable. I do have a couple. I'm going to go through all the other games that I did like this in future episodes, and I'm going to shout them out like that. And I don't know, maybe we can continue to do this kind of thing. I know that when I did platinum this game back in the day, I had an idea of doing that kind of thing with the channel, where it was like, this one was the one that started with F. I was essentially going to, when I was making videos, I was going to basically do this thing where, like, with all the games that were super forgettable, I was going to turn the idea of an ABC type challenge and just use them for super forgettable games, just to kind of give me an excuse to talk about them when I was doing that kind of the one that where or the one that type format. But I've since then changed the format of the show completely, and I don't need to do that. So there you go. I hope you guys enjoyed this Far Cry New Dawn look into the trophies and my general feelings of the game and the game series as a whole. If you guys are going to be picking up Far Cry 6, let me know how it goes. I'm probably not going to pick it up anytime soon. I have so many other games and projects and things to do that Far Cry 6 is probably going to be one that I miss for a while. I'll loop back around on it, but as of right now, I have no real intentions on getting the Far Cry 6 Platinum Trophy. Maybe when I need another junk food type of game, I'll pick it up and I'll enjoy it as I always do. But as of right now, not on my to-do list. But let me know what you guys think about Far Cry New Dawn. Did you like it? Did you platinum it? Do you remember it? And let me know if you are using chorizo in your Far Cry 6 playthrough. Because even though I find this series to be very forgettable, I do still love the series. So, thank you guys for watching. My name has been Insane Raven. This has been Tales of the Hunt. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.